Thank you very much, Mr. Undoka Jr. Good morning, brethren.
Good morning, sir.
Hak Samia. The theme for the feast this year is Living God's Way Today. Living God's Way Today. And as some of the speakers said in their messages, I would also like to toe the line by giving us one aspect of way on how we can also, if you don't know it before, we can use and start introducing in our daily life in living God's way today. As we all know, we all live in a world that is presently, the system is so chaotic and a lot of things seems to be out of shape. The system supports so many things in which everybody begins to act or think as if they are the authority of themselves. And they will say things with conviction in such a way that it is politically correct to them. The government is doing it, individuals are doing it as well. It's almost similar to a situation that we once had in the days of the judges. Before the judges started, the Israelites, there happened to be a a generation that left. And the next generation that came seems to not even want to even know God at all. And they drifted away and they do things according to what they want. And of course, the repercussion also came in the cycle of sin and the judgment that comes after it, in God punishing them, sending neighboring nations to attack them, take their spoil, take them captive sometimes. And of course, after some time, they will come to repentance and God will pardon them. They will restore everything. And before you know it, they will start all over again. And again and again. It's almost like the circle just keep going on and on. When a generation that seems to have a relationship with God, you fail to pass on the legacy to the next generation, things like that bound to happen. Turn with me to Judges chapter 2. Judges chapter 2. Joshua had died, and the fate of the children of Israel depends on themselves. And there seems to be no king like for them then. Judges chapter 2. Verse 10. When all the generations had gathered to the fathers, and other generations arose after them, who did not know God nor the works which I had done for Israel. This is a generation of people that seems not to recognize what their forefathers had done. How God had brought them out of the land of Egypt, took them into the land of Canaan, established them, governed them, used a lot of from one miracle to the other. They were all established, and now all those generations are gone. And the generation that happens to live in the land now seems to not even acknowledge God anymore. Judges, the last chapter of the book of Judges, chapter 21. Judges chapter 21. In those days, there were no king in Israel, and everyone did what was right in their own eyes. The same thing that was happening to them then also mean to us that is happening to us right now. In the world that we live in, the society that we stay, the issue of morality, the issue of conscience is no longer a big deal to anybody. Everybody thinks or tends to just do what they want to do, not what is right or what is good anymore. The new norm, the new evil is the new good of nowadays. We see in movies, just as Mr. Kimball once said in his message in the opening night, on how messages are being sent in movies, in novels, in magazines, how system, God's system, marriage system have been changed. Now have wife marrying wife, husband marrying husband. And Paul did say something about this in Romans when he said, because they will not even put God in their thinking, he said he gave them over to a depraved mind. A mind when men do things that is not right with other men and women, the same thing. It's a society that doesn't even care about how you even earn your living, as long as you get it done. Those days when out of hard labor, good, hard work, and God being in favor and perseverance and all, putting all success of every law of success into use, you get to where you want to get to. But now there's a lot of shortcuts to just get to what we want to do. You see how we want to talk about internet scam, fraud, internet fraud, or people even duping their own brothers. It is the norm of the day, it is what is happening. But as God's children, how are we supposed to view all this? How are we supposed to look at this? Let's turn to Isaiah 50, Isaiah chapter 5. It's a system that God so much hates. When good is being used as evil, evil is being not even, people are beginning to call what light, darkness, light, and making it look like it's okay, it's cool. Isaiah chapter 5. God didn't take this lightly, and it says something about it. Isaiah chapter 5. Verse 20. Woe to those who call evil good, and good evil, who put darkness into light, and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter. They have torn and twisted the truth of God and make it look like it is real. How can we even begin to even know what is good, or what is right, or what is true, or what is even fake? As we said, we have the mind of a discerner. We need to have that mind to be a discerner, to discern things. Discernment is one of the spiritual gifts of a Christian. It's something we all should pray to know. It's all we all should pray to have and to put into use, so that we can be able to separate what is good from what is bad. For my sermon title, I've titled it as Be a Discerner. To be a discerner. To separate what is good from the bad. To know, to distinguish. I hope with this message, I'm able to let you see, to know the importance of distinguishing between good and evil. Not just to know, but to also be able to take decision when making our choices to do what is good as well. Not just distinguishing between good and evil alone. And also, I also hope to also be able to dedicate our life to improving our relationship with God with the choice that we make. With the choice that we make. So, to be a discerner, the reason why we need to be a discerner far outweighs what we even view it to be. Because in being a discerner, you tend to always know what is the truth. Be able to know what is the truth in every situation. Because every decision we make is not going to be based on ourselves alone, but on the things that God has actually exposed or given to us. To be a discerner, we also have our moral conscience upright, that whatever decision, wherever we find ourselves, our conscience is right with God, that in terms of decision we take is in line with what God expects us to do. To be a discerner is also an essential part of our spiritual growth. It's something that we need in improving our relationship, not just with ourselves alone, but with God and with the people that we deal with. In making decisions, that call, that decision that we make every day, we need to be able to discern, to know between what is the truth and what is the error. So what is discernment? What is discernment? The Greek word that is used for discern is diakrisis. And the meaning itself means to distinguish or to judge. To distinguish or to judge. Throughout the Bible, everywhere that the word discern is used, throughout the Bible, it means to distinguish between good and evil. So in effect, the meaning of the discernment is nothing more than the ability to decide between truth and error, between right and wrong. The world is filled with a lot of wrong things, a lot of things that we are not even supposed to be exposed to. But it is what it is. And we are in this world, and God has kept us in here. And hoping that Jesus Christ prayed to keep us safe in all these things. But then, as we come across all these things in our walks of life, we should be able to have that ability to discern between what is true, what is also an error, what is right or what is wrong. Discernment is a process of making careful distinction in our thinking about truth. So it's also similar synonymous with the ability to think biblically. When you are making decision, is a decision based on the truth, on the word of God that we have on our laps right now? Or are we just making decision based on our feeling? I feel this thing is this is how far I can go, or this is what I feel it is right. No. We need to learn to discern, to live that life that God's living the God's will life in the world that we live today. Paul did say to the Thessalonians that they should examine everything carefully, prove all things, and hold fast to that which is good. What is true? Say, examine everything and hold fast to that which is good. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. I'm talking there. Examining everything, that means we need to check and scrutinize things. Don't just say, this thing is, they are pushing this thing to me. Then that is it. We need to know, as good as this thing looks, is it actually founded in the Word of God? John also advised us to believe, not to believe every spirit, but to test the spirit and see whether they are from God. To test every spirit and see whether they are from God. So it's not just enough for us to just assume or to say, oh, this is the standard or the norm of the society. We can't just allow ourselves to just get jaded or get used to the way the system is. Or seeing a guy walking around and claiming to be husband, homosexuality, lesbianism, or political things, or political armed robbery, or people that will not just want to work and thought, they just want to make money by all means. I remember talking to a young chap not quite some time ago, and he was talking about, if he had this is a young guy, talking about probably in his 20s or 20s, let's just say 20s. So if he actually finds himself into the political seat, he's going to do the same thing that he's seeing the people doing. And I was shocked to just listen to him say that. And I asked him, "You mean you actually do that?" He said, "Yes, I'll get whatever I need to get to and probably establish myself for the rest of my life." And I shook my head and I said, "Is there any hope for this country anymore? Is there any hope for us? If a young man that could be thinking about, oh, this is what these people are doing, that could help change this situation if I get there, it's the same person that is thinking, look, I need to also do something for myself, not for the people when I get there." We can't allow ourselves to be like that. Well, the truth also remains that human beings, we are created, is not just created, but the situation around us makes us do things the way that seems right to us. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 21, verse 12 says, "There is a way that seems right to every man." There is a way that seems good, that seems okay. It's super cool with me, and I don't need to even care. It seems okay, I don't need to even bother. It seems right to every man, but the way of it at the end is death. Turn with me to Jeremiah chapter 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. Verse 28, verse 23. "Oh Lord," this is Jeremiah talking to God. "Oh Lord, I know the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man. It is not in man put what to direct his own steps." To think about what we want to do, to say this is what I want to do, this is my way. It's not in us to always make the right decision, but rather, where do we get this decision making from? How are we able to discern what is right and what is wrong? So I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes explaining how we can learn to have the mindset of discernment, how we can learn the heart of discernment. James chapter 1, verse 5 says, "If anyone lacks wisdom," James chapter 1, verse 5. "If anyone lacks wisdom," and to me, I'll put any word here to also mean if you lack understanding, if you lack judgment, if you lack discernment, if you lack any fruit of the Spirit, do you lack joy? Do you lack gentleness? Do you lack self-control? Here's James advising us. If anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all liberally without reproach, and it will be given him. Let him ask God, who gives to all liberally without reproach, and it will be given him. We need to ask God in prayer. We want to have the mind, the spirit of discernment. Let us ask God in prayer. Let us tell him that we need to make our path straight with him. We need to want to do what is right at all times. We need to straighten our path. Let us ask God in prayer. Solomon was given the opportunity to ask what he wants when he was made the king of Israel. And being a young man of his age, he could ask for so many things that young people of nowadays will want in their life. They could say, I want a Ferrari, I want a Lamborghini, I want a 15-story building somewhere, or a yacht. They just want to be, all the lifestyle of the musician. They want to do everything that Davido is doing. That's what a young man would probably do. But what did Solomon ask God in his prayer? First King chapter 3. First King chapter 3. From verse 5. And at Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Moses in a dream by night, and God said, "Ask what I shall give you." And Solomon said, "You have shown mercy to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in truth, in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart." You have continued in his great kindness for him. You have also given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. Verse 7. Now, O Lord, my God, you have made your servant king instead of my father David, and I am a little child. I do not know how to go out and come in. Verse 8. The servant is in the midst of your people whom you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to be numbered or counted. Therefore, give your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? Solomon did not ask for money, he didn't ask for wealth. What he asked for is a heart to discern in a way to help judge the people that he is going to rule. God, out of God's generosity, God did not just stop there. He also extended by also in verse 12, he gave him more than what he even asked of. Verse 12, behold, I have done according to your word. See, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there has not been anyone like you before you, nor shall there be like you arise after you. God also just gave an abundant thing apart from just the ability to judge his people wisely. Unfortunately, we also saw the story of Solomon's ability to use his wisdom. Just immediately in that same chapter, I was able to give a righteous judgment between two women who, when one lost his son, and she was trying to claim the son of the other one, and he was able to use his son. At the end of it, in verse 25, it said, all the Israel heard of the judgment which the king had rendered, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to administer justice. Immediately we are beginning to see that Moses and Solomon had the privilege to make a good request, and look at what they requested for, and look at the end result. Unfortunately, he lost it all when he started making poor judgment. That is later in his life when he grew old, and things started getting worse and worse. And he started following a lot of women, taking a lot of women in, and started worshiping their God, started building her, and his judgment started getting cloudy because he refused to allow God to refused to let the judgment of God to rule his life. So how can we begin to have the spirit of discerning? We can ask God in prayer. Another way we can also do that is to also seek counsel from our ministers. God has put them there for us as a guardian of our soul. God is not just put them just just figurehead. They are there for a purpose. Ezekiel chapter 44. Ezekiel 44. Ezekiel 44. Verse 23. Beginning from verse 10 of that chapter, I was talking about the laws governing the priest. The priest as a then are the people that has the oracles of God and the administration of the offering and services of the temple. Right now, what we have now is the ministers who are in charge of the keeping of the church as well. Verse 23 says, and they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the unholy, and cause them to discern between unclean and unclean. Do you have doubt? Do you have a situation you find yourself where you want to a clarification on some things and you want to make decision, and after so many thoughts of yourself and you feel you are not getting to a proper conclusion, there's no shame in consulting or taking counsel with your ministers. Talk to them, they will be ready to listen to you, and of course, they will advise you based on the instruction that they too have received from the Word of God. How can we have a spirit of discernment? The third way we have listed here is for us to also grow in the Word of God. We need to grow in the Word of God. The Bible that is sitting right now on our laps should not just be on our laps just for the fun of it. We need to study it and grow in it. Not just be babies alone, just study the rudimentary part of it, but also get in depth, personalize things and let it take in-depth thought inside of Hebrews chapter 4. Hebrews chapter 4. Verse 12 says, for the word of God is living and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even the division of soul and spirit, and of joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intent of the heart. If we have issues with our soul, if we have issues that we want to resolve, or we want to say things that is cloudy to us, the Word of God is also there for us to use. Chapter 5, verse 12. Chapter 5, verse 12. Actually from verse 13. For everyone who partakes only of milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. For solid food belongs to those who are of full age, that is, those who by raising of Jews have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. When we use or study a lot more on the Word of God, we tend to exercise our brain, we tend to put all those things into use. And when situations around our society tend to push themselves at all, we will be able to know that this is the truth or this is of faith. If situation is pushing itself in such a way that temptation is coming, the amount of God's word and spirit in us will be able to let us know that, oh, this is temptation and this is a trap. We should be able to walk away from it. We should be able to know what to do and move away from it. If someone is using the scripture in a way that you know that, oh, this scripture is not properly used, is not used the way it's supposed to be used. One story that came to mind was one guy that sent to Facebook that said, if you bow down to me, I'll give you heaven and earth. And everybody was saying amen. Even the pastor was even saying amen to it. Not knowing that the same scripture was actually a scripture used by the devil to Jesus Christ to bow down. And at the end of the day, realize that people do not even read or have a relationship with the Bible at all. We should be able to recognize temptation before it even traps us. This story comes to mind of Joseph. He grew up with his father. He knew about God. He knew he had a relationship with God. And when he was sold into Egypt, and when he was serving Potiphar, and when the wife of Potiphar was making advances on him, he knew what was going to happen. And he had his chance to say, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to have you sever my relationship with God. I believe it's the spirit that God, is the spirit of his ability to discern between what is good and what is evil, and making to also be able to make that choice. Beginning to make that choice. Genesis chapter 14. Genesis chapter 41, sorry. Not only did he go to prison because of that decision, but at the end of his life, we all know that Joseph was made the prime minister of Egypt. And let's hear the remark of what the number one man of Egypt had for him. Genesis chapter 41. Verse 39. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, inasmuch as God has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning, as wise as you. He saw that ability in Joseph, and he also recognized it. And at the end of it all, he also gave God the glory. He should have the ability to also be able to discern and separate good from evil if we are to live God's way in this current world that we are living in. If we are to live the way God expects us to live. Back to the story that I started with in Judges chapter 2. When people are when generation have gone and the next generation doesn't know what to do. Sometimes the job to also pass the knowledge to the next generation is actually depending on us. We can't just leave it to church or to the school our children are going to, or the Sabbath school that they are also attending. We need to invest time and energy. The responsibility of teaching all these children is on us, not on any other person. Deuteronomy 6 verse 4 to 9 says, we should at every point in time that we should teach them. As we are walking on the road, we should teach them. On the lintel, on the doorpost, on the wall, we should use every opportunity that we have to teach the children. We can't just leave them to chance alone. Let's move closer to them. Let's be able to pass on the necessary information so that they too will grow in the ability to know what is right and what is wrong. Our heroic ability, like what the book of Judges, like people like Gideon, Jephthah, and all that they all live, cannot actually is far away from their kind of life, the kind of life that they live. But our life should be the one that is exemplified by the kind of life that we live daily if we want to bring the kingdom of God to reality. If we want to live a life that God expects us to live today, we should make our living right. And our weapons are standards, moral truths, and convictions we receive from God's word. We can't lose sight of that. It's important for us to learn how to discern between what is good and right, what is good and evil, and to hold on to that what is good. in this world that we live in. Shabbat Shalom, brethren.